So I'm sure you have a very stimulating discussions in your respective breakout sessions. At this point, perhaps we can discuss further and share what you have, what you came up with in your respective breakout sessions. Maybe we can start by maybe sharing the pilot profile and proof of concept. Like everyone, I presume, are talking about a pilot project. How are you going to pilot it? Maybe we hear from Philippines, please. Just a very brief share of your pilot project.
Yeah, so for the Philippines, it was a very productive discussion. Actually, we really reuse the term sheet components as like the basis for the flow of the discussion. So in terms of the policyholder, although the initial like recommendation was the Protected Area Management Board, but now that we have more representatives, like a wider set of stakeholders, there were new ideas which emerged, which we think are more practical, and that is also being they're also backed up by laws. So just for instance, there was one suggestion that instead of Protected Air Management Board being the policyholder, it would be easier for a local government unit to actually be the policyholder, hinging on the recently approved PPP law by the Philippines, allowing the local governments to enter into an agreement with a private sector. And that was also the representatives from the insurance industry in the Philippines actually agreed that that could actually be a more plausible or more like feasible solution if we want to pilot it fast and not really go through the usual like government procurement and approval process. So that's one. And then we went through like where do we get the money from? Um, we initially the recommendation was also through the Protected Air Management Board, but then eventually I think what the consensus was, it is better for so that we will avoid the bureaucracies, the approvals, and all that. It would be better, I think, also as a great outcome, learning from the discussion on conservation trust funds. It was there was an agreement that it would be best to establish a conservation trust fund that sits outside the government, sits outside the government, but allows some representation from the government, but not too much representation, as what Mayor mentioned, because it will still be a deterrent. So it will provide, it will sit outside, it will be professionally managed, and then, and then it will not only, it will do, it's very similar to what the MAR Fund is doing. And at the same time, there was a consensus that we should not only look into just the parametric insurance. Parametric insurance will just be a part of the portfolio for the conservation trust fund, but we will also look into raising money for protection, capacity development for the restorers. So I think for the Philippines, it's really that coming up with, there is already, I think there's really strong buy-in from the insurer side. There are already indicative interest to pursue. There are very specific recommendations from the insurance. To give an example, they said we might want to explore something like a non-prohibition clause, so that it will expedite the process. The governance, it will expedite the process of moving the money from the conservation trust fund down to the implementers. So yeah, I think that's really it. We are dying to continue the conversation after this. Okay.
Thank you, Diane. I think Philippines is very keen about the entity behind the pilot and the financial instruments that they're gonna use. They're gonna have a conservation trust fund, which has features of that of a blended finance facility, and the governance, I think, is embedded in PAMBI or a multi-sectoral representation for the fund. Let's move on to Fiji. If you can just briefly share your pilot and some details that you've discussed, whatever emanated from your discussion.
Okay, I'm just going to give a quick summary for Fiji. There's a bit of not an issue, but I think there's a lot more that needs to be unpacked in country. And so one of the commitments that our director for climate change has agreed to is she needs to facilitate some form of a national dialogue to get the conversation going. And one of the elements as well is to actually define who exactly will be the policy premium payer. For the targeted sites, we have 3 listed options or pathways, but that needs to be explored and confirm how that will be done with some sort of government leadership. So we haven't got to scaling it. So because Nico was missing, so we'll probably figure that out before we go into the sessions and report back again. Thank you.
Very much. Let's move to Solomon Islands. Perhaps if you can zero into the financial instrument that you wish to pilot, or maybe it's already there. And if you can share what needs you have in terms of technical assistance to support your financial instrument.
Thank you. So just 3 points to report on. Solomon is very happy during the course of this week. We've got approval, and everyone's got approval for US $100,000, which will then go to the next stage of the project. So that's the first point. We're very happy to get that approval. Number 2, in terms of the governance around the table, people have agreed that the current financing mechanism, which comes direct to the fund, is good, but there's agreement around the table that it can receive input to improve the capacity of the governance. So we've talked about that and agreed on some basic details on how to improve the governance of the fund. And number 3, in terms of preparing for scaling, the team has also agreed that there's going to be a working committee that comprises some of the people around the table already, but also some who are based in the capital. And that's going to begin the discussion to get Anavon to be successful in the next 18 months, but also to look at possibilities for scaling to the next 6 sites that are in the pipeline. So I think we've agreed on some basics, but there's still a lot of details which the team is going to talk about, and hopefully also tomorrow before they head home. So all around, really successful discussions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, last but definitely not the least, I don't want to repeat what has been shared. I am curious if there is an attempt to attract private capital in your financial instrument for Indonesia. Is there a feature where you want to have some private sector participation in your financial instrument? Was there?
Thank you, Norman. I think before I answer that question, we would like to provide summary of our discussion. There was like a heated discussion in this table. So basically, the summary that I got from this desk is the first is we want to explore the potential to combine the 2 business cases. Not only Nusa Penida that was presented yesterday, but also Igili Islands that Ibu Diana presented this morning. And then the next step is to pilot the platform of the Indonesian Environment Fund, IEF, in the central government as the policy holder to cover the 2 sites. And the beneficiaries later on would be the MPA managers in Gili Islands and also in Nusa Penida. The timeline that we are thinking is maybe in the first 2 or 3 years is to build the enabling conditions. In this case, there is currently limitations for the government budget to allocate payment using the government state budget. So we need to build that enabling conditions. And while those are being explored and also established, we hope that to be able to get grant funding and also maybe philanthropic funding for that. And once this enabling conditions is achieved, then the government is willing to allocate funds to sustain this insurance policy. And in terms of the source of funding, we've been discussing about the MPA and tourism entrance fee. Of course, there is also need to have like the flow of funds to be accepted by the government. That this is possible, for example, from the subnational government flows to central government to IEF. And other actions that we think that is really necessary is, of course, to internalize the concepts to key stakeholders, to the decision makers, the policy makers, but also to the community and also to the private sector. So in terms of outreach is needed. Yeah, that's all, Norman.
Thank you so much for Indonesia. One last question. Is there an opportunity for regional collaboration, such as sharing data, developing a standardized methodology, or a joint application to a funding source that would strengthen your respective pilots in your countries? Any insights, or do you think there is an opportunity for collaboration among 4 countries in terms of sharing data, maybe methodologies, or even jointly applying for a funding source? Or any form of collaboration to take advantage of the scope, no, not just 1 country, but 4 countries in one. As a maybe for the next after the presentation. All right, something to reflect about. Thank you.